Hey everyone, and welcome back, or if you're new here, my name is Josh, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing the Credit One Bank American Express card. So I'll be going over the main features of this card, its pros as well as its drawbacks. So hopefully by the end of this video you'll have a much better idea of whether or not this credit card is a good fit for you. But before we go ahead and dive into the main features of this card, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like. That just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Plus, if you would like to receive up to $9,000 in free stocks, in a pinned comment below I will be leaving a link to Webull. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account, deposit at least 1 penny. At that point, Webull will be sending you at least 3 free stocks, once again worth all the way up to $9,000. Okay, so diving right into the main features of the Credit One Bank American Express credit card. First off, we're going to be talking about how you can earn cash back with this credit card. So on every single transaction, you will be earning 1% cash back. This pretty much means that for every $100 that you spend, you will be getting $1 in cash back. Now, you don't have options to choose on how to use this cash back. For example, you cannot ask for a check in the mail. You can't use it towards travel. Instead, Credit One is automatically going to put it as a statement credit, which basically is going to reduce your overall balance. Now, as far as a spend bonus goes, unfortunately with this credit card, unlike a lot of the other ones out there on the market where you might have to spend, let's say, $1,000 within the first 90 days, and in return you'll receive $200, with this card, there is unfortunately no spend bonus. However, there are some additional benefits of having this credit card, and this includes having contactless payments, zero fraud liability, which means that if you lose your card somewhere and someone picks it up and spends hundreds or even thousands of dollars on it, you will not be held liable to pay for those transactions because you did not authorize them. Likewise, if someone steals your credit card number and information and goes online and spends thousands of dollars on it, just like in person, you will also not be held liable to pay for those transactions because you did not authorize them. Also, you're going to be receiving free online access to your credit score so you can keep up with that. Then you're also going to have access to their easy-to-use mobile app. You're also going to have customizable notifications, so you might want to set up a notification whenever your payment due date is coming up, or perhaps whenever a transaction is made, you can have that notification set up as well. And then finally, you can also choose a new payment due date. So for example, if in the beginning you have a due date on the 14th of every month, but you don't get paid until the 16th, in that case, it might make sense to push your payment due date back to like the 20th or something like that, just for an example. So those are the main features of this card. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and move into the APR and fees, because of course this is also super important as well. So starting out, your purchase APR is going to be a whopping 29.24%, which is pretty high. As far as cash advances go on this channel, we always recommend to stay far away from cash advances. This of course should not be considered financial advice. It's just something that I personally try to avoid doing because the APR on those is usually pretty high. Plus you're going to be paying a lot of fees with them as well. But if you do decide to take out a cash advance with this card, just knowing that your APR on them is going to be 29.24%. Plus, you're going to be paying a lot of fees as well, which we are going to dive into in just a minute. So as far as the fees with this card go, on those cash advances, the fees is either going to be $5 or 8% of the amount of each cash advance, whichever happens to be greater. So in the case you do like a $100 cash advance, there would be a fee of $8 on top of the APR, which is going to be 29.24%. Now, as far as foreign transaction fees with this card, there is going to be a foreign transaction fee of either $1 or 3% of the amount of each foreign transaction, whichever happens to be greater. This pretty much means that if you are traveling abroad, you might want to take another credit card with you, or perhaps even consider using cash so you're not going to be hit with those foreign transactions. Typically, Capital One credit cards do not have foreign transaction fees, and other credit cards that are more targeted towards travel also don't have foreign transaction fees either. So you might want to consider getting one of those credit cards either by, once again, Capital One or pretty much any other credit card out there that is targeted towards travel. Now, as far as late or return payments, if you happen to pay late or have a return payment, there is going to be a fee of up to $39. If you slip up maybe once or twice, you could always call into Credit One and see if they can waive that fee. It's possible that they might for the first or even second time convenience, but I really wouldn't push your luck too much past then. And then finally, as far as the annual fee goes, unfortunately this credit card does come with an annual fee, which means that every single year of having this card, you will have to pay an annual fee of $39. And while that might be waivable, you could always try to call in to see if they can waive that fee. More than likely, you may not have too much success. So now that we went over the main features of this card as well as the APR and fees, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and dive into what I would consider to be the biggest pros and drawbacks of this credit card. So we're going to start out with the good things. The first good thing is the fact that you may not find it too difficult to be approved for this credit card. It's going to take around a credit score of right around 580 up to 740 to be approved. And of course, they're going to look at some other things as well, not just your credit score. But it might be a little bit easier to get approved for this credit card as opposed to other credit cards out there in the market, at least unsecured credit cards. And the second, I guess, good thing you could say is that it is pretty straightforward, easy to understand card. You're going to be earning 1% cash back on every single transaction. They don't have any special categories. Whatever you spend on, you know that you're going to get 1% cash back on. And then also you don't have to decide whether or not you want to use your cash back that you earn towards travel, gift cards, or anything else. They're going to automatically apply that as a statement credit. So it's straightforward, easy to use. Now, as far as the drawbacks go, even though I just mentioned that as a pro, I'm also going to say that's a pretty big drawback as well, because 1% cash back across the board is actually pretty poor, because most other credit cards out there in the market are going to give you around 1.5% cash back on every single transaction. And a lot of other credit cards also have different special categories where you might be earning like 3% cash back on gas or at restaurants or things like that, whereas this credit card, you're just earning 1% cash back across the board. And then with those credit cards, you also get to choose how you can use your cash back. So if you'd rather just have like a check sent to you in the mail, if you'd rather use it towards travel, if you'd rather use it towards a gift card, you're gonna have all those options there. Also, with this card, you're not gonna have the opportunity to earn a spend bonus, whereas with a lot of other credit cards out there in the market, you might have to spend like $1,000 within the first 90 days, which isn't going to be too difficult to achieve. And in return, you're going to receive like a spend bonus of $200 to $300. That would definitely be another perk out there. With this credit card, you don't have a spend bonus at all, so that's definitely a downside. Thirdly, there's also going to be a lot of fees with this credit card. You have a foreign transaction fee and you have a $39 annual fee. That's definitely a pretty big downside as well. So all in all, just to sum this card up here, it is one I probably would not recommend, even though it may not be too difficult to obtain. Instead, I might look for a secured credit card, maybe the Discover It secured credit card. If you're looking to build your credit score up, you can go with that one, even though you're gonna have to use your own money. So you're gonna have to deposit money from your checking or savings account over to Discover, but in return, you're not gonna have to pay an annual fee. And then also you're gonna be earning a little bit more cash back with it. And then also have a cash back match at the end of the first year. So if you earn $200 in cash back with the Discover card, they're gonna match that $200 and give it to you at the end of your first year. So all in all, I would probably instead go with a secured credit card, build your credit score up over the months, and then eventually apply to a better credit card than this one that's going to earn a little bit more points or cash back, one that has a spend bonus, and one that also doesn't have an annual fee, unless you're going to be getting a ton of benefits to make up for that annual fee. But that's all we have for today's review. I certainly hope that you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like, consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.